Hi, Chris Annino here, and I'm here at Parade Plaza with Tiffany Elizabeth. And recently, there's been some horrible events that have happened in the news. Donald Trump is no longer allowing the transgender community, or no longer recognizing them as far as military. Correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So yesterday, Donald Trump put up a series of messages on his official Twitter account, essentially announcing that he had conferred with some unnamed generals and had determined that from this point forward, transgender individuals would no longer be allowed to serve in any capacity in the United States military. The wording on the tweet was rather vague, but most of us took away that to mean both active duty and future recruits would be barred from continuing their service or starting a new service as a result of his tweet storm.
Now, I know several people who did serve. One friend of mine, her name's Janae. She actually was in the U.S. Marines, and she, prior to her transition, served under President Clinton for Secret Service. Now, for veterans, do you think, is that going to affect them as well?
Well, I do believe that any decision that pertains to, transgender troops as a whole would affect veterans as well. Now, transgender people haven't been very well represented in the United States military for the majority of the history of the DoD. In fact, an executive order signed by Obama in his 6th year of presidency was the first time that transgender people could serve openly in the military. And it's only been in effect for about a year and 4 or 5 months now, up until this legislation or executive order that Trump is proposing is actually signed. Now, with that being said, those troops that were veterans before that year and a half never actually served openly as transgender troops. And I don't believe that their TRICARE insurance has ever covered anything that has to do with transgender care as a result.
Now, what exactly do you think his basis is? I mean, there's many things that it could be. It could be religion. It could be his own personal feelings. What do you think the basis is? Because it really doesn't matter if you're trans or not, as long as you're serving the military. And if we're winning a war or a battle, I mean, that's really, I mean, to me, that's really all that matters. I mean, there's nothing that really gets in the way of that. A soldier's a soldier, a sailor's a sailor. What do you think?
Well, I've been thinking about this one a lot since I heard the tweet storm originally yesterday. And, honestly, it's the same answer I give to most general trans questions when somebody is a vocal opponent. How much experience do you actually have with trans issues? How well do you know the process that a transgender person like myself or somebody else actually goes through? Because listening to what he referenced in his tweet storm, quote, the excessive costs of treatment for transgender individuals. Last year, the military spent an estimated $5.4 to $8 million on transgender care. Now, to put that in perspective, they also paid $84 million for Viagra supplements for their active duty troops, which means that they officially value giving erections to their active duty troops 10 times more than supporting their transgender portion of their community. Now, that $5 million was split evenly between all 15,000 active duty and veteran troops that apply for benefits as part of their transitionary care, which shows that they're not actually spending that much, especially out of a $600 billion budget.
What do you think could help this situation?
Well, I think Donald Trump, first and foremost, needs to start listening to people who actually have some modicum of personal ownership or responsibility for the questions that are being asked. He claimed that he consulted with his generals, but we have yet to see a single general from the Department of Defense come today and verify that statement. He has stated that he believes that transgender people are a distraction to the military, but we don't see active duty military troops complaining about the 15,000 men and women they serve alongside today in any real fashion. And he claims that it's crippling the readiness and effectiveness of the force. To which I reply, how does firing 15,000 people that are currently serving in positions you guys deemed them capable of serving in help make the force better and improve military readiness?
Would you find that President Trump is basing this decision on personal feelings against the trans community?
I don't know if he's personally against the trans community. What I would say is I personally don't think he has enough experience with any of the trans community to actually make an informed decision one way or the other. Now,
so basically not a factual decision, but based on emotion.
Yeah, I mean, that would be 100% my take on this. He's got plenty of ability to reference within his own military organization, within his active duty and transgender troop populations, hell, with even in the entire United States community. There's plenty of transgender and trans rights activists that he could have talked to prior to making a decision like this. But the only claim that he made was talking to generals. Generals who also likely do not have a level of personal experience and information on trans issues that actually help them make a factually based decision, and not just one that's based off of national trends and the ability to throw somebody under the bus to rally your base.
No. In society itself, do you feel that, and well, obviously you feel this, but can you tell me factually why the trans community is treated so poorly in society?
Well, so it really depends on where you are in society. Here in New London, Connecticut, as a transgender girl and as a professional engineer, I certainly don't face a lot of day-to-day discrimination because of being trans. However, I'm sure that is very different for other people in this country. And honestly, I think that the root of all of this is a willingness to be ignorant and be proud of it. I feel like we're getting into an age of anti-intellectualism, where being informed on subjects like the difference between sex and gender, or perhaps having taken a gender studies class in college, somehow makes you a part of the liberal elite and thus worthy of dismissal, instead of actually being listened to as somebody that may have some actual knowledge on the subject matter at hand.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this and organizing this event. It means a lot. And good luck with this. And thanks again. Jay Gadget, a.k.a. Amy Spicer, who is also very much an LGBT activist in the community. And Amy, tell me about what's happening today and your feelings toward it.
Yesterday, President Trump tweeted about how he is banning all transgender from serving in the military, and I really didn't know what to feel at first. I thought it was fake because I saw it from somebody else, and when I went on Twitter, it was true. So we are here to stand up for transgender rights. Transgender rights are human rights, and we are just making ourselves heard.
That's wonderful. Now, you're part of many organizations around here, and you're a huge supporter of the organization and the cause. Tell me why it's so dear to you and what you'd like to have changed.
It's human rights. Like, we're in 2017, and we need to just accept everybody. You don't even have to accept everybody. Tolerate everybody, and I hate that word. But honestly, it's the military. You're firing people for something that isn't even relevant. I've heard a lot of, well, the military shouldn't pay for their surgeries, but I just want to reiterate that transgender is not synonymous with operations or surgeries or actually getting anything procedure done. So I'm here to stand up for what is absolutely right. As far as medication goes, yes, hormone therapy is a medication. You have to go to a doctor to get it. There is therapy. But the price that the military has paid to take care of transgender people's medical expenses is far surpassed by the military's expenses on Viagra.
Yeah. Well, now, and here's the thing. Going back to that, like people who have clinical depression, insurance gives them money to get their pills and their treatment and stuff. So it only would make sense for people who are transgender, which they're born in the wrong body, to receive those same treatments that they need. Correct?
I completely agree. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Love, and I am a licensed professional counselor. My practice is called Counseling with Love. I have been in private practice since 2011. I started out in Waterford. I have had a lot of experience. First in an after-school program. I worked with
No, the idea of going to therapy to me was like you go and you see like this very, I guess the classic idea of therapy. There's someone who's 40 years older than you are, who can give you life experience, who is going to judge you for your sexual exploits, who's going to tell you everything that's wrong with you and tell you why your mother was right about everything. And I just didn't want that. I've been through that. I've met those people. It didn't work. It didn't work for me. It may work for some people. And I don't know. I wanted this to work. Like, on some level, I didn't, because I wanted to be able to escape and just be like, oh, I tried therapy. It didn't work for me. Like, nothing's wrong with me. Do, 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 do. But I think that's like, yeah, no, I wanted it to work. And I did a lot of research, and I went on psychologytoday.com, and I found everything that I could about like therapists within like a 50-mile radius of me. And for whatever reason, like art therapy just kept popping up. Not specifically like any individual therapist, but just like art therapy would catch my eye. I'd think about it, like, well, I don't understand that. Like, what is art therapy? Am I going to be drawing? Like, if I draw like an upside down smiley face, is she going to think I'm suicidal? Like, I didn't really know. I didn't really have any expectations because I was very ignorant on the topic, but it seemed like it's not classical therapy. And that was reason enough for me to want to go to art therapy, that it wasn't this like staunchy, antiquated, judgmental type of therapy. And thankfully, Vanessa's not any of those things. She does, however, look very young, which in my awesomely tactful way at the time, I aggressively brought up within the first 5 minutes of seeing her, that you look young. Are you licensed? How old are you? Are you going to be able to give me good life advice? Why should I listen to you? Or why should I listen to Vanessa? How old are you, Vanessa? I should have done those all in the third person. But basically just, Vanessa, you look young. Like, why should I listen to you? We're the same age. We probably had the same life experiences. What about you gives you the authority to tell me how to live my life or make suggestions? And for every, I don't know, like, accusation that I wanted to throw at Vanessa, for everything I just wanted to be like, no, you're not good enough, every single one of them, I don't know, she killed. It wasn't an issue. She's very authoritative, not in a bossy way though, and definitely not in a judgmental way. She's very kind, and but again, no bullshit. Like, if I wanted to manipulate a situation, if I wanted to have an outcome such as not wanting to talk about sexual abuse, it didn't matter. It did matter, and there was a thoughtfulness, and I never felt pushed, but I also had the opportunity to kind of push myself, and knowing that, yeah, I don't know, just knowing that she was there. And I don't really know that I've ever felt that way. And it was just great. It is great. And I don't know, I'm just really thankful for it and for her.
I want my clients to become the best version of themselves. I fully accept people for where they are. I know that there's goals and skills that they need, goals that they have and skills that they need to reach those goals. So that's really what we're working on, is to be better at life. And most of what I do is talk. I do some art therapy. It's very beneficial for those who are interested, but a majority of what I do is talk. Art therapy, what most people ask is, what happens in an art therapy session? The person comes in, we talk for a little bit, I figure out if they want a directive, which means that I give them something to work on while they're in session, and then we talk about it. It's a really good starting off point. It helps to feel empowered. It helps to see in a review where you've been and where you're going. It helps for people who have anxiety. It soothes them. It also deals with trauma without having to re-experience all the trauma. So if we're just focused on what it felt like when this happened, when this traumatic event happened, then we're just focused on that. We're not talking about these are the events and this is how everything went down, that type of stuff.
I started going to art therapy with you because I was going through some emotional stress with a breakup. I had left my fiance, and I had to move out of the house that we were living in. So that was really hard. And when I moved back in with my mom, it was difficult to find our new dynamic together and to deal with her alcoholism on a day-to-day rather than months go in between without us talking to each other when I was living with my fiance.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It was hard, and I really wanted to find a place where I felt safe and comfortable to express myself with art. That's a really positive way that I was able to open up.
What changes have you seen since you started?
Since I've started art therapy, I've seen a lot of changes. I'm a little more open. I'm definitely able to talk to my mom in different ways and to share, just to share more about my day-to-day and think about our relationship as adults. I'm just about over my ex-fiance, and it's been like over a month since I talked to him presently. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've seen the positive changes in me socially.
I was just about to bring that up. Yes, go elaborate on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Socially, I've opened up a lot more. Having this safe place to come to really makes me more comfortable. And when I was living with my ex, we were really isolated and codependent. And as I've broken out of my shell, out of that relationship, I've started going to open mics and practicing music and sharing my creativity with other people. I've started being more active in my church and like enhancing my spiritual self. And I started to go to Al-Anon. And all that from the confidence that I've gotten from art therapy, I've been able to share more of myself and expand my life.
So, talk about your experiences of therapy before you started with me.
I did go to therapy when I was younger. Right after my parents got divorced, I went to therapy, and I think it would have been better in the long term, but my insurance only covered like 5 or so sessions. So after the month, when it stopped, I stopped finding the tools to heal myself. So that was a long pause, and I went back with the stress of university, and I really liked my counselor there on campus. I learned a lot of tools that started my interest in meditation and maybe my spiritual growth. And then
Do you want to talk about your the previous art therapist that you worked with, or what is that? Because I know that was part of you coming here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I knew that I needed a counselor before I broke up with my ex, and he was the one who like called my insurance and found someone. And then the first phone number I called on the list of counselors that my insurance supported was an art therapist, and it just happened to be. And the very first person that I met with was Nicole. She was so gentle and so like soft-spoken. I needed someone like that to really start my healing again, to like hold my hand through the process of starting to open up, because I was so closed off for the past like 6 years. I didn't talk and I didn't share. I lost my friends, and I really needed like to start the opening up again. When Nicole transferred her position and left the counseling, when she left Norwich, when she left her position, the next phone number that she gave me was you, and you were so sweet on the phone. I was so nervous to start all over again, but you really gave me the opportunity to keep opening up.
Okay. And my style is very different from Nicole's.
It's so different.
Yes.
Yes, she's so like quiet and soft-spoken, but you're much more direct, and I really like the talking therapy with the art therapy.
Okay.
Nicole and I would spend a lot more time on the art and bringing out like, show me the representation of yourself, and then we'll act out like the representation of you with your parents, and like how the one exercise was like how the sun and the submarine and the candle like all support each other. It was cute. I still remember that one.
Yeah.
That we arranged the submarine and the candle to be under me as the sun.
Oh, gotcha.
Hmm.
Yeah.
To like help me more than me giving all the light. Like I didn't have that responsibility.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Hmm.
Have there been any favorite art therapy things that you've done in here?
Yes,
Okay.
we've like I'm so thankful that we've been meeting for a long time now,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a lot of
Last
favorite.
August?
Yeah,
You started coming? Okay.
yeah, it was the
Okay.
summer, so
Okay.
it'll be 1 year this August,
Right. Yeah.
and I like the few. I like the art projects that I've taken home and some of the art projects that I've left here. Some of them are too emotional for me to bring home and to like think about or edit as I'm home. But
You
I've
have to explain while you're home too.
yeah, hmm
Yeah.
yeah, I like to keep my counseling and my healing more private from my family at home. I'm so thankful that I'm really happy I brought home my vision board that I made with you.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the first vision boards I've made, maybe in my whole life. So this was really important for me to come to a place that I felt so free to do it, and it still has a lot of like my dreams on it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
But some of it, luckily, you like are actively working on like your
Yes.
spiritual life,
Mhm.
the healthy relationships, and learning more songs.
Yeah.
That was definitely on
Mhm.
there.
I have my vision board for the music and to be more creative, especially with other people. I have been playing music with other people,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and to build my relationships, get stronger relationships, more adult relationships with each of my parents,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and to be more financially stable. Like having found the job since I've been with you, you got me through the stress of having to look for it, and after I added it to my vision board, the interest to be financially stable, it's more comfortable to me see it actually happen.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I don't know if there's anything else that I can even think about asking.
What medium does she usually?
What type of what you know how many art supplies I have, obviously. So what have been some of your favorites to work with?
I really like all the different art supplies that you have.
Oh,
I love using the watercolors, but sometimes I like to use the pencils and markers too. But my favorite is making collages.
oh yeah.
And you have so many magazines and so many different cutouts that you're able to use. Working with collages and making the tarot cards of myself
Oh, yeah.
was a really good activity for me.
Oh, cool.
Being able to cut out different parts of myself that related to my relationship with my brother, and another card was
The idea of sister.
mm,
Um,
my idea of fear. I got to find the scary cutouts.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. I
Mhm.
like that one. Oh, your creator self.
My creator self,
Yep.
very positive and bright.
Yep. I can't remember what this one was. I'm so sorry.
Oh, like creative with the guitar. I found the cutout of the guitar and the butterfly on top.
Yep. And yeah, your sister self, and then here, and then you had attempted one of them, and it just like,
Hmm.
it was coming along, but it wasn't. It's definitely something to go back to. You're really good with colored pencils too. I
Oh,
like
thank
the way
you.
that you work with those. And yeah, and you do have like way better control over like watercolor than like other people do, so that's good too.
Mhm.
All right. So projects, anything that else that you can think of?
No, but no. Let me cut. Oh, it's all right.